Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. My name is Christina Wynn. I work for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And so today I'm going to share more information with you all about the program, what you can expect as a business owner going through the program. And then if you have any questions at any point, just let me know. I'll pass you this microphone because you have to speak in the microphone in order for our listening audience online to be able to engage in the conversation as well. So we'll get started. So again, my name is Christina Wynn. I am the Outreach and the Alumni Director for the Goldman Sachs program. And so what that means is I'm responsible for recruiting our businesses that go through the program. And then once you graduate, you go into our alumni network, and I'm the point of contact for support for you once you graduate. We have continuing education after you leave our program, and so any questions, concerns, or any way that the program or the staff can still be beneficial to you after graduating, I will be the point of contact for that as well. As you also will see on this initial slide, there is a picture of Harold Washington College, and you'll also see the City College's logo. The reason for that is because this is a public-private partnership, so Goldman Sachs is the private person. They are the funder of this program. City Colleges is the public aspect of the relationship, and so they provide us a workspace. They provide us with classrooms and office space for the staff, and so it's a national program, and nationally each location is in a City College facility. For that reason, and even more than that, our faculty come from City Colleges, and the reason that's important is because they are accustomed to teaching adult learners. And so that's why that is a public-private partnership that works. So let's talk more about the program. First and most importantly, this program is free. It is completely funded through the Goldman Sachs Foundation, and it's considered a scholarship program. You have a question? You can't walk? Oh, really? Okay, I'm sorry. But it is completely free to the business owners who are accepted in the program. And so the only thing we really ask for you are numbers and data that allow us to show impact and continue to get funded. But there is no cost to you. We cover the materials that you need. You are fed every day, multiple times a day, and everything that you need material-wise is provided for you. With that is that we're a national program. So we have actually 19 sites nationwide. That should be updated. So we have 19 sites, physical site locations throughout the nation. And we also have a national form of the program. Half is done online, half is done at Babson College. Babson College is in Boston, and they are actually the education system that created the curriculum for the program. So even with those people who have to go to a national site, and the reason for someone needing to go to a national site, you have to be within a 3-hour driving radius of a site location. So if you're not within a 3-hour driving radius, you go to our national site. So you have half online, the other half is at Babson, and again, all of that, the room, board, the airfare is all covered by Goldman Sachs for those scholars who go through the national forum. The program was brought to Chicago in 2011. It was created nationally or initially in 2008. So we're one of the oldest site locations, and we're actually one of the top performing sites. When we look at the metrics that we use to evaluate how impactful the program is, and that's revenue growth and job creation, Chicago site is one of the top. We're usually number one, but sometimes we'll go to number two, just depending on how the numbers fall. But we have a really strong site here in Chicago. Right now we have over 700 alumni in our alumni group. At the end of this year, we'll have over 800 alumni just within the Chicagoland area. Nationally, we're at about 9,500 alumni. They actually created an app recently, last year or so, to allow for everybody who's graduated to be in one centralized place so that you can do business across state lines or even within your own region, because the people that you go through the program with are the people that you'll get to know, but there are 800 other alumni who you've never met maybe, who you can possibly have a relationship with. So that app is a great way to keep our alumni group engaged. And then finally, we're taking applications for our 28th cohort right now. And so We offer the program 3 times a year, and the reason we do that is for seasonality reasons. Depending upon the type of business you have, you may have seasons where there's no way you can make the time commitment to our program, but then you might have seasons where it would be a better fit for you. So right now we are facilitating our winter cohort. That is January to April. We have a summer cohort, which we've already done recruitment for. We'll start interviews in the next couple of weeks. That's May to August. And then we have our fall cohort, which is cohort 28 this round, which is September to December. So I say that to say, even if the cohort we're currently recruiting for is not the best fit for you, that's absolutely okay, because we continue to take applications and you can go to a cohort, that is most befitting for you. So let's talk about the requirements. One thing that makes this program unique in comparison to some other organizations or programs that provide education for entrepreneurs is that we are hyper-focused on established business owners only. So we don't work with startup or early stage businesses. We only work with established business owners. The way that we define established, you have to be at least 50% owner of the business. We prefer the majority owner. If you are not the majority owner, we do take the minority owner, but you would need a letter of support from the majority saying that they are okay with you going through the program on the company's behalf. Only one person, owner, can go through the program. So it can't be, you all are switching out people, or I'll do it this round, you do it the next round. Only one person can go through the program under a particular organization. You must be in business at least 2 years. There is no flexibility on that requirement. You have to be established at least 2 years to be qualified. Where we do have flexibility is the revenue and the employee requirement. So you'll see on the slide that our revenue requirement, generally speaking, is $150,000, and we go upwards to $12 million. For minority businesses specifically, we can go down to $100,000 in revenue. And the other requirement, the employee requirement, as you see, for full-time employees is the general requirement, but for minority businesses, we can go to 2.5 employees. The way we do the employees, we do a point system, so full-time employees are 1 point, part-time and 1099 are half point. So a mixture of the two have to equal at least 2.5, and you are considered a full-time employee as the owner of the business. Moving forward, let's talk about how the program structure and delivery actually happens. So you'll see at the top row the logo of Goldman Sachs, Babson, ICIC, and City Colleges. We already kind of touched on City Colleges and how they fit into this program, but let's talk a little bit more about, and Goldman Sachs as well. I told you all they're the funder of the program. Babson and ICIC. So Babson College actually created this curriculum. Goldman Sachs put an RFP out in 2007 or so. Harvard, Stanford, Dartmouth, Babson, and then one other Ivy League school responded to this RFP. Babson won the bid because of how comprehensive the information is specifically to the needs of an established business owner. So I say all that to say it's a phenomenal curriculum, and it really does address the needs of an established business owner in comparison to someone who's getting started, or someone who's still in the idea phase. But if we move down to the next section of practical business management education. So this is really important. The curriculum is very practical, and what that means is, and you'll see in the next slide, we are together for a very long time within a 15-week period. We meet 17 times, and the times that we do meet, you're with us for a whole day almost, right? So you are not being lectured to in the classroom. It's a peer-to-peer learning environment. You will be in a classroom with 40 other business owners, 30 to 40, all different industries. As far as that requirement section is concerned, all different levels of establishment and revenues, right? So the way that you are taught the information is you get the concept, and then you kind of break out in groups and you get the muscle memory of those concepts. So you really do a lot of learning and information gathering from the other business owners that are in the room. In addition to that is a network of support. So not only do you get the faculty who is teaching you the information, the peers that you have in the classroom, but you have a business advisor that works with you on a weekly basis. And so what they help you do is to take that classroom information and make sure you are strategically applying it to your particular business effectively, because what you tangibly come out of our program with is called a growth strategy. It will be a document 80 to 100 pages, depending upon how deep you go into it. It's literally going to say this, and it's a growth strategy in comparison to a business plan. It's a document specific to the owner and what the owner is going to do to grow the business. So it's going to say, this is how I'm going to grow my business. These are the resources I need. This is the time I want to do it in. And so when I talk about that alumni program, after you all graduate, that's where I come in. If you need support in manifesting that, if you need connections to different resources, if whatever that looks like for you, access to capital, which is the next thing we'll talk about, we literally can support you in making sure that happens. The last part is access to capital. A lot of people think because a program is funded through Goldman Sachs that there is money on the other end of the graduation. When you finish, you get money. That's not how that works. We don't give money. The only thing this program does is education, but we very well prepare you to access capital. Because the program has national recognition and people really understand that when businesses go through our program, they're very well vetted, and then the information that they're getting prepares them to be able to do different things, right? So if you need capital, we take a deep dive into finance in the curriculum just in general, but we also have a lenders clinic where we bring different lenders in the room so that you can have conversations with them, because what is important to know is that all banks or lending systems assess risk differently. They lend out as far as your level of risk. If you're high risk, you probably won't get that. If you consider low risk based on how they assess risk, then you have a better chance of getting that loan, right? So we bring lenders into the room so that you can hear from these different banking systems. How do they assess risk? Are they looking at your cash flow? Are they looking at, what cash on hand you have? Are they looking at if you have equipment and collateral that they can pull from? Everybody assesses it differently. In addition to that, we have a Being Bankable module. This is a full day dedicated to pitching. And when I say pitching, not just pitching your business, but pitching for a lending entity. So that's a different pitch. Talking about your business, a lot of people get emotional. With this, we teach you how to focus on articulating your numbers, and more importantly, how you're going to be able to pay that loan back, because that's really what they care about. And then when you add all these components together and you complete the course, you do your growth strategy, and you begin the implementation of that, that will equal revenue growth and job creation after you complete our program. So the next slide talks about some of the partners that we have in the ecosystem. And this is important because, again, in putting together a growth strategy, it would be foolish for someone to think that you can execute that just by yourself. You need support. And there are a lot of resources in the ecosystem that will literally give you that added support to help you get to the next level. I think it's important to mention that this program is a growth-focused program. So even the information that we're teaching you, although it's information about your business, it's really to help you really get in the mindset of growth and getting to the next level. So with that being said, these different resource partners that we work with literally can support you depending upon what that looks like for you, and helping you get there a little more quickly than you could do it without any support. So this is the curriculum slide, and this slide is really important because it's really imperative for you to understand the level of time commitment that's required for this program, because we get people who are accepted and then they kind of realize after the fact, you know what, I can't really make the commitment of time for this program. This is a very time-intensive program. Again, it's 15 weeks, but we meet a total of 17 times. This middle row is the core of our curriculum, and they're called modules. That's literally every other Friday, and then there'll be 2 Friday to Saturday back to back. So orientation in Mod 1 is Friday, Saturday. Mod 4 and Mod 5 is Friday, Saturday. We meet from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. So you are completely removed from your business on those days. Let's go back to the requirement of the employees. The reason we have that requirement is because we have to make sure the businesses who are accepted and participate in this program have the infrastructure within their organization to continue to run, for the business to continue to be able to run while they're in this program. Because if you don't, you can very well lose clients or lose business because you can't pop in and out of the classroom while you're in the classroom. We ask you to be fully engaged while you're with us. If you look at the outskirt squares, those are our workshops. Those are about 3 hours, and they're typically in the evening on Tuesday or Thursdays. So the weeks that you don't have modules, because again, the modules are every other week, those weeks you don't have modules is when you have the workshops. And again, they're usually during the week in the evening, either Tuesday or Thursday. Any questions about this? So it'll be orientation in Mod 1, and then Mod 4 and Mod 5. And then just so you know, we always post the schedule on the website, which you'll get a couple of slides after this. But the schedule is on the website. You can read more about the curriculum and what you're actually learning in each one of these modules and workshops. But we encourage you to look at that before you apply, so you can literally look at your calendar and see, oh, if you got to go out of town, you know, you can miss up to 2 modules throughout, or 2 classes throughout the whole program. But if you see on your calendar before you even apply, it's 3 days you wouldn't be available, you wouldn't want to apply for that cohort, because you'll get kicked out, because it's a free program. And so for that reason, we need people who can really commit to the schedule that's given. Any other questions? I didn't give you the mic on that question. Sorry. So let's talk about the results. So like I said, the program is focused on revenue growth and job creation. So the metrics that we use to assess our impact are those 2 metrics. So when we look at our business owners in comparison to businesses who do not go through our program, just 6 months after graduating, they do about 35% higher in revenue growth and job creation after graduating the program. So it really does work. If you are able to fully commit yourself to the class, to the curriculum, you will grow your business. In addition to that, we have a 99% graduation rate. And the reason that's important is because although it's a very time-intensive program, you really can do it. The way that the program is structured, it allows for accountability within your groups. You need each other to be able to effectively learn and get the information, and for that reason, it kind of makes people be more committed than not. Now let's talk about the application process. So it's a 3-phase process. The first phase is very straightforward. It covers those initial requirements that we talked about, and it'll literally take you about 5 to 7 minutes to complete. Once you get past that, as long as your numbers that you put are in the parameters that we have set as far as qualifying, you will be pushed to the second part. The second part is where we verify the first part. So we ask you for the most current year's federal tax return. We ask you for 2 years of balance sheets, 2 years of profit and loss. We ask you for your articles of incorporation, proof of ownership, and we give you about a month to collect those documents and submit those to us. There's also an addendum application which asks more comprehensive questions about you and your business. But that is a little time consuming, especially if you don't have those documents readily available. So again, we give you about a month to get those collected and submitted to us. After you get through that phase, and as long as you get all the documents into us in a timely fashion, you will move on to our interview. You will be interviewed for about 25 minutes with a panel of 2 to 3 people from our national team to some of our local partners. But the interview is more so to assess your ability to commit to the program again, because that's really important from our perspective, that we're getting people who are willing to commit the time, but also to see how you fit in a peer-to-peer learning environment. Do you understand your business? Do you know enough about your business to be able to effectively share in a peer-to-peer learning environment? If you don't know anything about your business, a lot of the information and content that you're learning, and when we have you pair with people, it will cause it to not be as fruitful, if you will, because some people, you would be surprised, don't know a lot. They know what they do in the business, but the business as a whole, they don't have a lot of understanding about. So that's important for the program. And so once you get through the interview, as long as you are given a thumbs up, you will start our cohort day 1. And if you don't get accepted into the program, our no is never like a no, don't apply again, but our no is usually you're not ready yet, and we will give you other resources of different organizations that may have maybe less strenuous as ours, or just maybe something that you need to get ready for our program. So I always tell people that if we say no, don't feel like you can't ever apply again. Because we've had people that it took them 3 tries, and then on that 4th try, they finally got into the program. So don't give up if you aren't accepted. And then finally, this is just a summary page. So again, we are recruiting for Cohort 28. That is our fall 2020 cohort from September to December. The application deadline for that cohort is June 18th, but we are always accepting applications. So if you apply now, you will still go into that bucket for our fall cohort. Everything is on the website. The application is on the website, the schedule, the curriculum. You can see some testimonials, but anything that you need to know about the program is on our website. And then if you have any specific questions, always feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is as listed. I prefer email because I do a lot of these type of events. So if you call my office, it takes me a little longer to get back than if you send me an email. So that's the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions?
My business is new. Just take me out the line to see what's going on.
Your business is new? I did.
Thank you. Well, I don't have any question because my business is just 1 month old. So I'm just beginning the process. I'm here to submit all my application for the certification, but I'm working towards to get all the documents ready. So when that is done, I'm going to go through the website and see what can I gain from this. I love it. Good. I love it, and I like it.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I always tell people, even if you're here or you're not ready for it, it's good information for you to share.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to go through
because it's a really great program, and I'm the only outreach director, so I can only do so much. So if you know people who have businesses who may be qualified, please share my information with them. I have no problem talking to people and just going through the presentation with individuals, but share the information because it's a great resource for businesses.
If your company is established already within the 2 years and you want to expand into another field, does that qualify as?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we have people whose growth strategy is to go into a new market, is to start another business, is to acquire a new space, whatever that looks like for you. Absolutely. As long as it's about, because what we don't do is work with businesses who are, they're on a downward trend and they're looking for a lifeline. They wouldn't benefit from the program. It's really those who may have plateaued, so it's like I know what I'm doing, but I can't seem to push my revenue up, or those who are on a trajectory of growth and they need support in that, because scaling is a great thing, but it can also be very detrimental if you don't know how to properly have the infrastructure built out to support that scale. So that's what it's really geared towards. So the answer to that question is yes, absolutely. That could be your growth plan.
So if you're trying to grow vertically, and this is a new market that you want to go in and you don't have that much knowledge about the field, then how could you mentioned about not being able to contribute to the conversation with peer-to-peer learning. Is that going to hinder?
No, because the classroom information is more so touching on where you are in your business now, but to help you start getting in the mindset of getting it to the next level. So a lot of times when people come up with their growth strategies, they aren't able to implement it after graduating. It's some stuff they have to do internally, and then they'll be better prepared to grow. So you can still be an asset to the classroom as long as you understand your current business. You don't have to understand, but part of what you learn is market research. So we're going to support you even in thinking about doing, vertical growth or what have you. There's research that needs to happen. There's due diligence that you need to do on the front end before you make that investment of time and resources and things. So we'll support you where you are so that you can be successful with that next step. Okay, well, I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for coming for today.
Absolutely.
Do you fill out the evaluation?
Please fill out evaluations and